Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Weekend Frivolity. This is our Broiler Chicken Show. Why we name it Broiler Chickens, who knows? Sounds like a good name. Suppose we could call it the crypto and equity. Mind you, we also do derivatives, trading. Happy hour with Cowboy Bill. I don't know. Broiler chickens it is. Anyway. Usually what I like to do for these weekend shows is a dovetail to the level 1 program with Grim. But it is a holiday here. Happy Easter, everybody, I suppose. So I do have to get going for Liam here, so I don't want to make this too long. So probably a little bit past noon, I gotta hit the road. So I did want to start up a little bit earlier. So we'll probably have level 1ers sort of pile in as they get going. But the good part about this is this can be a time where I can actually speak to sort of YouTube audience kind of people, because I do know after I get blabbing away for a bit, you guys do chime in and have some questions. Although I don't think there's anybody over there. Hey, Rocker's there! Rocker! How's it going, dude? We gotta have the Rocker salute. I put the camera on, but I look horribly unpretty this morning, so no camera today. So thought maybe I'd take the opportunity here to just talk a little broader market kind of stuff. And if you YouTubers over there have something you would like me to look at, I know sometimes you guys do ask, and I kind of ignore those requests. But if you guys have something you want me to look at, just say so, and we'll give you my 2 cents for whatever that's worth. Hey, Ray, nice to see you, Slick. We just finished up the level 3 program. Got them ready to go for their final exam. So we got a whole new whack of educated and hopefully educated TRI vets. They all get their veteran badge, and they're pretty certificate. I think even it's got a portrait of me on it, if I'm not mistaken. Just kidding. But we'll get them heading off into the investing universe to spread the good word. Good money management skills, good setup hunting skills, good self-management skills. Because ironically enough, half this battle, and actually, Ray, I think you were even saying that in class yesterday. Half of this battle is really just setting yourself up for success and being able to just come and run your business of trading. And that's the boring part, right? It's nothing to do with, is my coin going to 10x this weekend because there's some sort of shill going on? Or it's running your business of trading and seeing that the account balance is going up and up and up and up to the point where, hey, maybe it is going up so much that it replicates annual incomes. And you could even think about doing this for a living. But the point is, you got to see that damn account balance go up. And, there's a whole bunch of things you got to do to set yourself up to run that business. Got to have a ledger. Especially all you crypto enthusiasts, right? When I say ledger, that all of your ears should perk up. In fact, what would be really cool is what we really should do at TRI, and maybe Sjord will get around to this one day, is technically shouldn't we all have tokens? That's the way to get these level 1ers paper trading, right? Is you actually tokenize this stuff, and you can't move forward unless you pass blockchain screens. Must have 100 paper trades logged. Must have demon finders built. Must have report cards submitted. Oh, there you go. I've told you guys, back when I first got involved, the very first thing that came to mind when I saw Bitcoin and blockchain and especially when I first saw Cripple, and I understood that there's like 2 or 3 different ways you can go about this. What is your freedom really worth? You know, is the efficiency of getting something done very quickly worth the offset of your privacy? You know, that's that whole Cripple versus Bitcoin conversation. But anyway, I remember way back then when I first got into this space, the very first thing that I thought was that, this is going to be the absolute worst nightmare for all of these people. Because what it literally means is at the end of this, every single human being that's sort of in the system, if you're an American, you have what do they call it? A social security number. In Canada, they call it like a social insurance number. I'm sure over in Europe they have some sort of name. I'm sure over in China they call it the Winnie the Pooh number, right? That one goes out to you, Z. Love you, babe. Free 2 Michaels, please. Thank you. But the point is that by the end of all of this, we're all going to be on the blockchain, whether we like it or not. And if you're a tax-paying citizen, of course, you're literally going to be on the blockchain from probably the day that you join like the Boy Scouts or something, and you get like a Boy Scout number, and you're going to get your little ERC token saying you joined the Boy Scouts, and boom, you are ledgered for the rest of your life. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'm sure this plays well into Big Brother's hands. And I suppose at the end of the day, the irony of it all is for most of us is we pay our taxes and we're good citizens. And, for a guy like me, the system actually has been extremely beneficial because without the system, my son would have been screwed. So, my son has benefited well. And so as a result, I don't mind supporting my local system here. And trust me, I pay a lot in taxes. So, it is what it is. So I think, like 90%, maybe 95%, maybe even higher, 98% of the people that are going to be watching this video, none of that should really be of any concern to you. You go. Especially all you that work in like the high-tech industry. I mean, you all know you pay your taxes, you have withholding, you pay your CPP and your OAS, so you already know how the game works. It's going to be, and the weird thing is, it's going to be that 1-2% of the community that really wants that sort of anonymousness and screw the tax man and, to hell with it, I'm relinquishing my citizenship. I mean, there is going to be that element. But I don't think that's the majority. I think that's actually a very small minority. But anyway, it is what it is. From just one old timer, right? I'm the old timer that says, don't go and sell your house to buy a speculative asset. But that's an old timer. That's like, it's like, I'm like your dad, right? I'm like your uncle kind of guy, just kind of looking out for your best interest. I mean, fuck you. Gotta hand it to people that sold their houses and bought Bitcoin back there a year or so ago. I mean, they're stinking rich, right? Gotta hand it to them. Way to go. You rolled the dice and it worked. But that's probably not like, and especially if you're going to go to like a school to learn how to do this right, which is what we kind of try and tout ourselves here. There's no way I'm going to endorse that kind of behavior. I just can't. You want to take a little whack of your money, maybe like, 5% of your net worth or something like that, and go throw it at the market? Pfft, go for it. In fact, I used to have little old ladies that used to do that all the time. I had no idea what the hell they're doing in the market. But, I'd probably want to limit your risk. You might even want to do like a leverage product. You could have taken 5% of your stake a year ago and bought some like 2 or 3 year dated Bitcoin $50,000 call options, which everybody at the time would have thought that you were absolutely off your rocker. And with the concept of delta expansion, Ray, do you appreciate delta expansion now? So we're teaching the level 3ers. They're big, sort of learning about about options is this concept called delta expansion. But, you could have done that, and holy bejesus, you'd be island shopping now. So, how you use that 5% to place your bet, well, that's up to you. But I think it's really in your best interest. Try not to go too deeper than 5%. You're just asking for trouble. But, like I said, sometimes it works, and way to go if you called it. I will say, though, it's a little bit dangerous to, in my humble opinion, past 20, 30 years, we've lived in an environment where it's kind of like, fuck you to the system. Yeah, fuck you to the man. Stick it to the man. And in a weird sort of way, our politicians were like that too. Constantly cutting taxes. Smaller government. Knock government down. Which, of course, leads to just an absolutely wonderful speculative environment for risk takers and capitalists. Woohoo! I'd be careful here. I can feel, and maybe it's because I'm getting old, I don't know, but I can feel the winds of change are blowing. I'm personally, I'm very disappointed that totalitarianism has actually garnered as much acceptance as it has. Very disappointed in that. And it might even get to the point where the public itself demands totalitarian type leadership in the case of what it perceives as sort of financial chaos. I think to a certain degree that's how people like Napoleon came to power. I think you could argue characters like Adolf Hitler. I'm sure there are others we could probably mention through history, but I'm fearful that that's the kind of environment that we're heading into, and that's just sort of me talking to you as one guy to another. We're just sort of standing on the trading floor and just looking around and just sort of saying, what's the environment? People are actually now very comfortable with the notion of, raising taxes in the United States, and hey, they got to pay their fair share. And, the irony of it all is you go and raise the taxes, and I even heard another, sort of long-time market guy saying this today. You go and raise taxes, and capital's just going to flow somewhere else. It's really that simple. Capital just, it's not going to stick around and say, okay, well, fine, I guess I'm going to pay a higher tax rate, and that's just the way it's going to be. That's not the way capitalism works. It will just simply avoid the jurisdictions where the tax rates are highest, and it will flow to where the tax rates are lowest. So in a weird sort of way, there's always these sort of perceptions. You go and raise taxes and improve the social standing, and of course the economy will do well, and very rarely does that ever happen. I have yet to ever see in my 50 years, and I've studied markets a long time, where raising taxes leads to growth. It usually doesn't. So my hunch is Joe's going to encourage this big tax rate hike, and it's probably going to mean that, we've had this crazy fucking straight 1 year up market. I mean, maybe we're going to spend the next 5 years taking a huge chunk of that back. That could happen. Totally. Why not? I mean, the markets will do anything. If anything, what you all just saw over the past year is a perfect example that markets will do anything, and getting into the business of predicting what's going to happen is stupid. Because I can tell you, this time last March, if somebody had said, well, stock market's going to be at new highs within the year, people would have thought you're nuts. And here we are. So, don't get into the business of making predictions. It's just not worth it. What I will say is over the past 4 or 5 years working in this crypto community space, what I've seen is there are about 2 or 3 windows, and even in the 7 years that I've been working in this space, there's like about 2 or 3 windows where they were just absolutely beautiful investment windows. And the irony of it all is that at that exact moment, the public was not interested in crypto whatsoever. And ironically enough, the prevailing sentiment, even though we were basically at the bottom end of trading ranges, was very bearish, and the public commentary was about selling. So, put those two together, and I think you really have a framework for if you really want to invest in this space and be serious about this stuff. When should you act? And unfortunately, I don't think right now is that environment. Sucks. It hasn't been this way really. Interestingly enough, we gave me. TRI sits on quite a bit of capital, but I like having a lot of money in the bank just in case the shit hits the fan. I think that's all. It's just playing from a position of strength. We're well diversified, different currencies. Just, we got the money in the bank, so nobody can surprise us. Nobody can lowball us. Nobody can hit us with some sort of fee, or if we get audited and somebody says, "Hey, you got a $50,000 tax bill from this," or whatever, we can go, fine, here's, cut a check, done. And that, psychologically, that gives me the ability to come to you and talk to you without corporate sponsorship or anything like that. Don't give a shit if Google touts my videos or not. Somebody even said, this guy's only got 5,000 followers? Holy jeez, I know it's quality, because there's not 100,000 viewers of these videos. It's not like he's shilling something, and it's in the best interest for the shill to just reverberate. There is no corporate interest here. It's just, word of mouth, if anything. And trust me, Brian's got a big mouth. Where was I? Can't remember. So I was mentioning how so last spring when price dumped there, I actually gave the boys permission. All right, you know what, I feel okay, we can go in and start dollar cost averaging in the corn. And I think they were shocked that they actually got me off my ass. So it did pretty well on that investment. I mean, it wasn't bad. Not nearly as good. I mean, you want to be a really fucking shark trader, people. You gotta, what you gotta do. You gotta, and I don't even know if he has one or not, but this Kavarkinator guy, if he ever gets a newsletter or something like that, I mean, you really gotta subscribe to his shit. And I've shown you time and time again. I mean, just his trading is just off the map. I don't know where the hell the damn chart is. I should show you. And I'm just having fun. Yeah, I think on Friday or something, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna freestyle this. Let's see where it goes. And I asked people, do you like me just freestyling and just blabbing away? And they're like, yeah, I suppose this is doable. So I'm in a freestyle mood lately. But I think I've told you guys before, I mean, you really want to be just an absolute insane trader. What you really got to do is you got to force yourself to come in and buy against tests the bottom ends of ranges. And I was touting about how so proud I was that people at TRI actually, they stepped into the breach and they bought in here, which was, this is the hallmark of people that are going to get stinking rich from trading. What was so cool about this, and if you can learn from this, people who actually write notes and shit while watching these videos, this dump had absolutely nothing to do with Bitcoin. Nothing whatsoever. And that's the hallmark of a really good trade. When price dumps into technical levels, holds the levels, has absolutely nothing. The price dump had nothing to do with Bitcoin whatsoever. And then, of course, you can see just shortly following after, get me the hell out of there. But it's also interesting, too, and I think it's a really good lesson of hindsight, and I kind of tweeted this out earlier today, was, people actually kind of were upset at me on social media for going and putting out funny little Fuggenbaum's tweets saying, we'll probably be back here up here 11, 12,000 down the road. I remember there was one guy on Twitter totally tore a strip out of me for that tweet. And the irony of it all is, like I said, in this business, don't get into the business of predicting. But if your setup is, hey, I buy against the bottom end ranges, I look for I don't know, momentum divergences. Do we have any divergence in here? Not really, but pretty good looking W there in RSI, if you like, and of course RSI ridiculously oversold. I don't know, W's in price. Maybe you go long at 6,000. You don't even get Kavarkanators level. And, you're just forcing yourself to come in at the bottom end range and buy. So, this is really where I think the trade was. And the irony of it all is that had you done that trade, actually your biggest job as a trader is just to let the market do its thing. And like I said, I mean, people were getting angry at me for saying that, well, 11,000 was doable. And here we are up at 50 million bazillion gazillions. That's sometimes hard for people to do. I mean, like I said, the insane shark traders, this is the hallmark of just a shark. And like I said, we've got a Kavark at TRI, and there were a bunch of other TRIers that did this trade as well, and I was immensely proud of them. As I said to you earlier, just even with TRI and the boys, once we got into this, I was like, okay, fine, go and buy your goddamn Bitcoins. So, they did. Julian and Sjord, I've got nothing to complain about. They did very, very well. And hats off to the boys. And of course, Sjord, this is something I wanted to mention earlier too, was Sjord, I see this happen is that, and it was kind of interesting. You can kind of see it on like a longer term Bitcoin chart really easily. Question is, where did I put that? I think I had it over here. Darn. It was a really simple Bitcoin chart of just a weekly price chart, and it just told the story so simply. I suppose we can just do it up here. Doesn't matter. So, and actually this is a good dovetail to this conversation. So, we'll first do the study. And then, I remember there was a guy who was super Bitcoin guy. He used to always do his videos, and he used to always say, the indicator that you should use is the 200 period moving average on Bitcoin. And he used to just have his videos constantly. I can't remember what the guy's name was. I want to say Rafe Mayer, but I don't think that's right. I think there's a Rafe or a Mayer in there somewhere. But I don't see him around much anymore. He's not doing those videos anymore. What the hell is it? Maybe it's simple. It's weird how you have, there it is, simple moving average. But the 200 period, oh no, not this nonsense. That's not what I want. The simple period moving average is, yeah, but I just want the built-in. Oh, Jesus, that's frustrating. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Now I think I have to scroll down here. Moving average. Oh, I guess there's no simple in there. Duh. Okay, so what am I trying to do here? I thought, and I posted this in the lounge, I thought this was really interesting. So the this is a 200 period moving average, but if we go to like a weekly price chart, I thought this was fascinating, and actually it's probably better to do BTX because you get a little bit longer data. Oh, but not that. What the hell's that? What is it? Oh, maybe BLX? Yeah, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. But, this illustrates this 4-year business cycle moving average really well. But if you change it to a log chart, you see it a little better. So there we go. It's too bad we just don't have data back here, but it sure looks to me like there was some sort of pivot in here. But boom, 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 right? And I think actually, believe it or not, I think actually last March was a gift. Ironically enough, if you were actually able to step in and pick some, I think you actually, COVID was a treat last night. That's the way I look at it. If we look at like the Canadian stock market, not to get off topic, but I'm just going to have to get off topic. last March, I mean, just think of it this way. You could have technically exited the stock market in basically January 1st, the year 2000, with your money, and then gone last March and literally bought the exact same level on the Canadian stock market, i.e., avoiding 20 years of capitalism. Well, that's crazy. That's what I found really amusing about this when I saw this happen. I mean, in essence, basically this entire 2 decades was a non-event if you had the balls to go in and step in and buy that March low. So that's what I mean by it was actually like an absolute gift. And I think to a certain degree, same thing on Bitcoin. Last March actually was an anomaly. I don't think that even the 1% expected last March. I really think it took them all really by surprise. But anyway, that's here and there. But you'll notice that, if we look at this from a 4-year business cycle kind of idea, you can clearly see right here, right here, right here. And again, like I said, I think that was a gift. I don't think that was supposed to happen, but we're supposed to go something along those lines. But anyway, that's here and there. But you can see the windows, right? What I thought was really interesting was, when we actually get down into those windows, the sort of more up to date, the more sort of, cutting edge technology. It seems that, now keep in mind, this is the absolute cutting edge. So this is sort of like the newest equipment. Keep in mind, there was, at this point, 13s, 11s, 9s, 7s, 3s, whatevers, still operating away. My hunch is by the time we get to the next halvening window, these will be the sort of inefficient equipment that will be sort of your base cost of production. And my hunch is that we probably, you can see this is that last window. You will probably do the same thing coming up down, a year or two from now. I really like this approach to investing. It's funny, like I started my career, if you can call it that. My old man found this newsletter service. I used to subscribe to the Rough Times, Howard Ruff. A guy like Howard Ruff would make Rush Limbaugh look like a pansy-ass schoolgirl. That's how hardcore conservative Howard Ruff was. I don't know whether he's still alive or not. But anyway, so in the back of one of his newsletters, back when you used to get newsletters in the mail, there was this course by Kenny Roberts, a commodities trader. And that's actually how I got started. And that was back in sort of the mid to late 80s. And that was pure technical analysis. 50% rules, M's and W's, and that was basically it. And frankly speaking, the simpler you make this game, the more profitable you'll be. There was this poor guy on Twitter that put out this picture of this massive trade setup with like 20 screens and 5 million indicators. And he's like, I'm going to get rich in the market. And John Bollinger comes back with a simple line. The more tools you use, the less profitable you'll be, just FYI, which I thought was hilarious. But anyway, crazy world. So anyway, I over the years, I have come to respect fundamental analysis. It's harder to wrap your head around it. Obviously, it's dealing with ratios and trying to remember formulas and sort of what's good and what's bad in sort of a very real world sort of way. And really the irony of it all is the proof is in the pudding. When you do buy something that's undervalued and then you see the market take it back to value and then you see the stupid public come in and bid the thing up to absolutely insane values, then you realize the value of fundamental analysis. Like I had a silly stock there a while ago. Perfect example. What the hell's that damn thing? IMIN. Perfect example. Where our fundamental analysis said, okay, well, it's probably worth stepping in at like 4, 5, 6 cents a share. That's fine. Now, who the hell is buying this stupid stock at 84 cents a share? That is not fundamental value. And anybody coming in here, level twoers who just did your gap theory, you tell me. Who can tell me? What's the statistical probabilities that gaps get filled in? Why is anybody paying, even now, 38 cents a share? And really, that's a log scale. To see this in real terms, that's what it looked like. Okay, fundamental value here. Fundamental value here? At like 10 times the price? Come on. So, anyway, over the years, I've come to respect fundamental analysis immensely. As I had sort of started off this rant, I liked the idea of shopping for the corn down here. I remember I did videos with Da Vinci down in here. Actually, some of the names that we mentioned there, they are substantially higher. Just kind of like this Bitcoin chart. They look just as nuts. That was the time. And then, of course, like I said, last March, we all got a fucking gift. That's the value side of the equation. Does that necessarily mean that this is going to stop here now? I don't think so. And actually, I put a fun tweet out. I love to pull these charts up every once in a while. And do sort of a walkthrough. Because frankly speaking, I'm actually quite surprised at how cliche this actually has really turned out to be. And I'm actually a little surprised that more people haven't talked about this. It's surprising. I would have thought that this would be like basically on CNBC every bloody day. But if anything, as long as they're not talking about it, that's actually better for us. Because I do think this is a fantastic roadmap. This is looking at the corn on stamp. I suppose we could probably even get a little bit more data if we looked on that Brave New Coin thing. But in essence, what I see is, 11, 15, and 19 all appeared to be very bottoming type price action. And like I said, I actually think that 2020 was a bit of an anomaly. But 2012 consolidating off of that 11 bottom. 16 and 20. And you can see that really this is how the start of the year should have gone. But there's COVID. And this bar here, like I said, I actually think that was a gift. That was a treat. That should not have happened according to plan. But they got her back on course. And fascinating to see, coming into the fall. Basically right on schedule. It was ridiculous. And then, of course, here we are into 2020. So 13. And 13's an interesting one because it had a huge ramp up. And then it kind of went sideways for like about 6-8 months. And then it was only into like the last month and a half of the year. And this is where I came into the crypto story. Somebody asked me to look at crypto. And I went, gee whiz, that's kind of funny. And there was some guy, and you'll know the top when it comes in. When there'll be a morning TV show. I don't even know if I do TV anymore. Does CBS and NBC and ABC, do they still have their morning shows down in the States? It's been so long since I watched TV, I don't even know if they do that stuff anymore. But whoever sort of the morning broadcast TV show here, the actual TV show host, if you don't know the story, it's hilarious. He was sent a Bitcoin, and it had the QR code right on the front of the coin with the key. And he held it up to the camera. And he goes, hey, look, somebody just bought me a Bitcoin. Because he didn't know what the fuck it was. So it was just this piece of paper that he was holding, but he didn't realize that the key and the password were right on the piece of paper. So somebody literally took a screenshot of the QR code and literally stole his Bitcoin from him while he was talking about this wonderful Bitcoin that he was holding in his hands. So, I mean, it just goes to show, in that kind of world, there's no fucking way crypto is going to be mass adopted. It was, if anything, it was a perfect harbinger of what was to come. The public thought when you see Bitcoin on Good Morning America kind of shows down in the States, and they're talking Bitcoin and how wonderful it is, that is the public coming in. And it was the same thing, in the next cycle, but... and I guess the point being that we have to understand that, let's face it, guys, this kind of growth rate, it's just not sustainable over time. This, ironically enough, if this actually grew at a nice, healthy 45-degree angle, we wouldn't be having these talks of Bitcoin moon and Bitcoin crash, and we could actually make the argument of mass adoption of cryptocurrencies as an alternative to the fiat currency system. But the simple fact that we have this insane volatility actually makes Bitcoin very unusable as that currency alternative, which is sad. There are those in our society, Raoul Paul, for example, I think that's his name, who say that Bitcoin's still going through its price discovery process. And that as we still have to work through this process, and if this pattern continues, it means that we will just keep continuing doing this until Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies do get to the ultimate size of being actually realistic alternatives. How big of a market is that? Does anybody know what what's the market cap of all these cryptocurrencies now? What is it sitting at? Is it a trillion? Is it 2 trillion? Is it 10 trillion? Is it 20 trillion? I don't even know what the size is. How big does this market have to get? How many of these iterations do we have to go through to actually get it to the size where we can stop this sort of boom-bust cycle? That is that thing they call the price discovery process. I don't know. It's a good question. What I would say to you is, number one, as long as you keep seeing this, we're not in mass adoption. Grandma can't use Bitcoin on a day-to-day basis. She can bang out doubles. And she has been, and of course she will continue to do so. Quadruples, and maybe she's even gonna bang Foggy. Oh man, now there's an image. Bang out a Foggy. Granny's banging Foggy? What? Oh boy. So mass adoption isn't here yet. But, probably the most important thing for all of you people is there is still a lot of money to be made here. A lot of money. And ironically enough, you can just put yourself on this 4-year plan, rinse and repeat, and maybe throw a decade or something at this story. And just let compound interest take over. Take over. I'm stuttering because I'm thinking about the numbers inside my head. I started this fun journey. Where did I start it? I guess I started it right about here with Julian. And we took one student's level 1 subscription membership, and I think actually it might even have been right around in here, and we started our altcoin trading plan portfolio with $500, and we bought I think 1.25 BTC at $460, and through this market here, and here, we were able to ramp that up. At the very top, that silly account was sitting at about, I don't know, about 700 or 800 G's. $500 into 700 or 800 G's. I mean, that's kind of crazy. It's not supposed to be that big. And the irony of it all is that when I did this through here, we used to do shows with a site called Coinigy. I publicly said, look, I'm going to take this $500 and I'm going to turn it into $100,000. And at that point, everybody's like, oh, you're crazy, man. Oh, you're crazy. Because keep in mind, most people that come to crypto and they take $500, maybe they get lucky and they hit one, and that's awesome. But they end up usually giving the money right back on the next one. Or maybe they enjoy a nice alt season. And keep in mind, 2015, 2019, you guys remember this was kind of a challenging environment. But especially when we get into now more friendly type environments, 2020 and 2021 are the same, in my opinion, as 16, 17, and 12, 13. And it's pretty easy to just throw a dart at a dartboard and hit one. But still, I mean, how many X's is that? $500 into 100 G's. And then the most important point about this, but actually most people discount this, is in portfolio management, like mutual funds, and you want to run your own hedge fund, they have something called a Sharpe ratio. And really that is what is the amount of risk on your portfolio given any one single investment to your overall portfolio. I.e., did you throw all your money at one name, and if it goes down, you're screwed? So, most importantly to me was when I bought the 1.25 BTC, I never took more than 5% risk of that 1.25 BTC on any one single idea. That's the most important part of that, was that basically that portfolio was so well diversified that it would take a nuclear bomb for that money to disappear. It was not going anywhere. So, point here is banging out doubles and then doubles of doubles and doubles of doubles of doubles, and then just keep reinvesting, compounding. You can do crazy things like 500 into hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then the irony of it all is really over this year, I pretty much did nothing. I mean, I took the 100 G's out, and we paid a bunch of taxes. Holy Jesus. Put a bunch of money into gold just for fun, just in case Peter Schiff was actually right. Nope, turns out he was wrong. And then just left it and did absolutely nothing. And the irony of it all is that silly little count, as we're right here right now. So we've gone through the wipeout of this account, and I think it went down to something like 20 or 30 G's ultimately at the end of all that mess. Then it's sort of firming itself back up, and now, as I said, we're sort of marching through, and we're back up that silly account. Now, even after taking 100, and I think we took about 150, 160 out that last cycle, paid taxes and all that kind of fun stuff. The silly account's now sitting back. Jesus, it's about 350, 400, somewhere in that neighborhood. So here we go again. And the interesting thing is we're only at this part of the cycle. What the hell's the damn account going to look like when we get here? And you can tell when my voice starts raising octaves, I start getting really crazy. I mean, I don't know what the hell this is going to look like. I told Stuart and Julian, I said, probably the best thing to do is just close your eyes and come back and just see what the hell this damn thing looks like 10 years from now. Because I got a funny feeling probably if I did absolutely nothing with all of those assets and just left them alone and just let them do their thing, the damn thing's probably going to be worth multiple millions by the end of this run. That's how insane this year could be, folks. Call me crazy. Like I even put out a tweet earlier. People are humming and hawing about Bitcoin and stuff right now. And, I really like the idea that corn's just basically in a nice big fat trading range. And if anything, that is exactly what the altcoins want. And this is sort of it's very similar to sort of what happened, like I showed you, 2013 there. 2013, you can actually see for a good portion of that year, actually Bitcoin was consolidating. And fascinating, even through most of 2017, we didn't really start to go absolutely apeshit insane until about October. So through this kind of environment, and maybe we make higher highs, maybe we do like we did in 2012. 2013. I kind of like this thinking, believe it or not, because we have come up awfully far, awfully fast. And I've sort of said that I actually would, if we did get this kind of like 61.8 pullback on things like Ethereum right now, I think that would be the buying opportunity of a lifetime. But, you just don't know. I mean, maybe we're just going to grind higher and just it's going to just be a relentless bull. Even if that's the case, I like us to just wait for consolidations if you're going to try and buy versus just going and just buying as we're surging to new highs. That never changes. So at the very least, as we're working our way through here, our idea of trading setups, that doesn't change. None of that ever changes. Don't chase, don't fucking chase. Just don't do it. If you're, coming to the space brand new, I don't have a problem. Little old lady risk management strategy. I'd tell my little old ladies, I would say, look, if you got, back then, $10,000 was a half decent amount of money. Nowadays, I suppose it's nothing. But if you got $10,000 to work with, you absolutely love this stock. I remember I had one little old lady, she was in love with Martha Stewart's stock. Remember when Martha Stewart had a stock? I said, fine, let's go buy $500 worth of some leaps, which are long-dated call options. 5% of your portfolio, I don't even give a shit what price it is. Just want to go buy, great, fine. Boom, done. Okay, now you got your Martha Stewart play on. Way to go. At that time, I would tell her, now don't look at the price, because you bought. Way to go. You don't give a fuck what the price is doing right now. And since it is only 5% of your portfolio, we don't really care. I mean, just let the $500 do its thing. And if it, grows to $1,000, we'll let them have half and put the other $500 back in your pocket. It's a very effective approach, and frankly speaking, along this, I mean, you can understand, hopefully, that if you came in and throw you $500 at Bitcoin here at like $14, $15, $16, $17, $18, $19,000 as it was face ripping up, you had to wait a very long time for it to get back to those prices and higher. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. But, little old lady, if you want to do that, that's fine. In fact, I even remember back in 2012-13 here, Goldman Sachs came out very much like that little old lady strategy and said to their clients, we like buying Bitcoin at $1,100. Ay, 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 ay. I mean, that recommendation did not age well. But for their little old ladies, of course, in the fine print on the bottom of every single Goldman Sachs recommendation, it says you must have a 3 to 5 year time horizon. And ironically enough, within 3 to 5 years, that $1,100 buy was perfectly fine. But going and throwing 50% of your stake, 75% of your stake, all of your money at that idea in here, maybe you sat there for 3 to 5 years, but I could tell you that would have been damn painful, and I doubt many of you would have made it through. And the sad part about it is we had a bunch of people that came in, gonna buy this course, gonna learn how to be a trader brand, right, and all that kind of stuff. Rah, rah, Bitcoin, it's the best. And I had to watch them. They already bought their Bitcoin before they bought the course. They might even pay the course with Bitcoins. And I watched them slowly, one by one, slowly their spirits just literally got sucked out of them. Where there were some guys that by the time we got down here, they were gone. Never heard from them again, which is so sad. Had you done like the little old lady approach and it was only 5% of your money, and you watch that $500 melt right back down into like, maybe $100 or $50 or whatever, well, no big deal. But if it was like a huge chunk of your net worth or your stake or whatever, this was unsurvivable. I do like to just simply say to people, and like I said, man, this is a roadmap. Take a fucking picture of this. This basically tells you, number one, what probably the rest of our year is going to look like. Keep in mind, Willie Woo's looking for 300 grand plus on Bitcoin, according to all his modeling. I wouldn't argue with that guy. I mean, what's the point? He doesn't have anything to lose. He doesn't have any special interest. I kind of like his approach. He's like, he calls a spade a spade. The people that are zipping in trading, selling against the top end range, buying against the bottom end range, right? He calls them the hyenas. And, honestly, that's not a bad way to look at traders. They are very hyena-ish. But, so, with him sort of touting 350 or whatever, 300,000, whatever number you want, and then us just sort of saying, well, what year is it? And gee whiz, does that kind of look familiar? All I did here was I just took the price action from these 2 years and just overlaid it on this year. Okay, well, based on the past couple go-rounds, what does a move up to 300K kind of look like? That's what this is. Is this year going to look exactly like either of these? I can absolutely guarantee you, no, it won't. But my hunch is by the time we get to the end of the year, uh-oh. So, put yourself in a position. You might even, like he was even saying in that video a week or two ago, he was saying, hey, I'm getting my buy orders lined up. And, as I said before, if we could get some sort of flash dump on these cryptocurrencies back down into some actual buying levels, I think this is an absolute fucking gift. So in a weird sort of way, I kind of wouldn't mind some regulator coming out and saying, there's a Bank of International Settlements. That guy, I think he's eaten a couple Bitcoins. He's coming out and saying, well, cryptocurrency should be regulated. India right now is going through the process of trying to ban cryptocurrencies. It's going to be really interesting watching both of those two bodies. The funny thing is with the U.S. and the Fed, I think that they kind of like cryptocurrencies because it actually represents an area of the economy that's growing. And if it's one thing the United States of America needs to get through this shit is their economy has to grow. So in a weird sort of way, I actually like the idea of the Fed liking cryptocurrency, like the bankers liking this. And the bankers have come in hard on this shit. There's one stock in particular we were following out of California that's a crypto bank. And that damn stock, we were looking at like $5-10 a share, and it's like $150-200 a share now, cocksuckers. So make no mistake about it, 1% in the United States is coming in hard. So I don't think that's gonna. I don't think the outlawing of cryptocurrencies is really gonna fly in the States. I think in countries like central planning, it'd be interesting to see how economy as big as China can handle crypto. They're censoring their internet and all that kind of stuff. I do understand that Russia kind of has like an internet within the internet, if I understand it correctly. I don't know whether that's the best way to describe it, but I do know that Russia. I remember a few years ago they kind of. They put a wrapper around what Russians can actually do on the internet. I don't know whether the United States is at that position or whether they even want to do that. Like how does a Google, a Facebook, an Amazon, which are all American companies, Apple, how do they flourish in that kind of environment? The fact that those are American companies and they're so heavily leveraged to the internet, I think probably their special interests and their lobbying efforts actually keeps the U.S. government out of this space. And I mean, you see this soap opera that they do about once every 6 months. Zuckerberg goes up to the U.S. Capitol. They all tear him a strip. They call him names. They make fun of him. But nothing changes. It's almost this funny soap opera dance that they all do together. So, I don't know. I mean, there's so many moving parts, eh? But the long and short of it here is respect his image, for Pete's sake. I mean, there's obviously a very consistent behavior to this. So, in this kind of environment, is it really in your best interest to go in and how do we describe this? In this kind of environment, I don't think it's really even in anybody's best interest to even imagine what the top will look like, because some of these tops will just be insane. I remember through this environment, we had one gentleman, he got in on the Pivx story, and that was sort of right in here. And the guy made like 100 G's in like one day. Just boom, 100 grand. There you go. Merry Christmas. I mean, that's the kind of environment this is going to be over the next 6 months, folks. I honestly believe that. This is going to get crazy. Like I put a tweet out earlier this morning. Like people are kind of like, is this the top? Is this the top? And I go, when you see an asset that looks like that, that's not what a tops look like. That actually is what bottoms look like. So if we know that bottoms look like W's, and this thing is just making its W, and we know that Bitcoin and crypto likes to face rip and do absolutely insane things, what the hell's this thing going to look like when it's done its move? I mean, it could be astronomical, folks. Astronomical. And I'm not going to get into the business of saying that this is the top. What I am going to say, too, though, I'm getting a lot of anecdotal evidence that like we kind of saw Bitcoin kind of waver there a little bit, and then we saw kind of Ethereum waver a little bit there, and then I just saw out of the corner of my eyes, money just keeps pouring into these damn alts. Just keeps coming in, like that Nomura I just showed you, Nemorite or whatever the hell it is. I mean, the money, it's just not stopping. It just keeps, it's coming in, it's coming in, it's coming in. And that sort of speaks to this kind of image, where I think there was a pretty big fight here just recently. The altcoins, they kind of lost it there a bit, but this has just been relentless. And I thought it was interesting, like Ethereum just broke to new highs, just because the money just keeps pouring in. And if I understand correctly, Snoop Doggy Dogg now is already on the NFT bandwagon, and making ridiculous amounts of money selling nothing. The fact that basically Joe's got the stimmy checks, everybody's on welfare. At what point do we move from welfare to universal basic income? And basically everybody's just going to get a check every month that's sort of on the lower end of the income curve. Sadly, of course, this all fits very well into sort of a hyperinflation kind of scenario here, which is a bit depressing. We might actually even see gold perform here, though, so that's kind of cool. But I think you're going to see crypto assets in general, go through this sort of face rip kind of event here. Make damn sure to pay yourself, because I absolutely believe once we get on sort of the other side of COVID, there will be an attempt by the central planners to try and rein this shit in, because it's just absolutely out of control. And I don't know where the end of the out of control is. I don't think anybody does. And that's probably the one thing that I've been thinking about this recently. That's the one thing that really bothers me about this. I don't necessarily think it's really that one asset is more valuable than another, and as a result, it's prudent money management. I think actually most of this has more to do with very poor leadership in our society. The problem here is that we know that this money system, if you've watched this channel long enough, if you're at TRI long enough, we understand how the money system and this sort of moneyed class, how they take advantage and they manipulate this system. About once every, I guess, about 40 years or so, they have to hit the reset button and change all the rules. We're going through one of those reset buttons. Hell, if it was up to Klaus, you'd just give him all your worldly possessions and just believe that he'll look after you. That's a dangerous assumption. One thing I've noticed in my 50 years and lots of study of history is that when things are most bleak, it's easiest just to simply say, this guy says he has the solution. Let's just believe him. He has the solution. It's it. I think that's actually, for our Italian audience, I think that is exactly what happened with Mussolini. Was the situation was just so bad in Italy that this sort of, this loudmouth leader, bully kind of guy comes along and says, you know what? Just trust me and I'll take care of it. And basically, I think that opened the door for a long period of fascism. So Mussolini's another historical character we can add to sort of like Hitler's. And I'm worried about Winnie over there. But if anything, what I'm worried about is I think what's going to happen. I mean, I can't tell whether. We'll leave that for another day. Okay, so with regard to sort of short-term price action, of course, this makes complete sense, right? It was interesting, I love following this fun little RSI study that we follow, and people have sort of gotten me to sort of revisit it. I used to trade RSI years and years ago. I don't like trading RSI because its behavior constantly changes, and it irritates the hell out of me, but it's been a pretty good learning module, and if you can sort of zoom out, especially after the fact, hindsight's always 20/20, right? You can kind of see the message of the market. So, I got the impression, I guess about a week or two ago, we started setting up these bullish divergences on RSI and started putting in W's. And remember, of course, I got all upset at social media figures for getting over the top excited about this. When really, I hate to say it, folks, this looks like a trading range to me. It's one big ass ugly motherfucking trading range, but that's all it looks like to me. So we were sort of working our way higher. We ran into a foggy level here, so I thought that was kind of interesting off of this consolidation. Sort of the market just had a very difficult time accepting higher. On Thursday, and remember this week's a holiday, so it's kind of a weird trading week anyway. But on Thursday, we had news that there was a big U.S. jobs report that was going to come out late Thursday night, early Friday morning. And the futures markets were going to be open for a very brief window there for the release of the jobs market, but to all intents and purposes, the market was closed. Cash markets were closed. So, very odd little pocket of time there. And you can see it right across the entire risk spectrum. Where heading into that jobs report, I could literally see... Oh, geez, how do I get this to cooperate? Yeah, there we go. You could literally see everything was catching a bid and just getting bid up as hard as possible into that jobs number. And actually, it's kind of fun because the boys on the site, Kiran... Gotta love Kiran, man. He did such a cool presentation for the level oneers. Kind of a teaser. Unfortunately, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, I've been at this for 30 some odd years. I try to cram 30 years of market trading experience into 36 modules. And of course, we want to get you going with the first sort of 12 modules in the level 1. Are you going to learn and be like a pro trader after that level 1 program? Well, you'll have the basics. You'll be able to build a plan. You should understand 2 very simple one trend following trade strategy, the bot, one range trading strategy, the El Tangonator. And at the end of level 1, you probably at that point now can build your trading plan, go hunting bots and El Tangonators, and start learning what a trader's life is actually all about. And, if you can put together 20 paper trades and 20 1/10 account size trades with no mistakes, then I think you're actually ready to actually start trading real money. I think on balance, the level 1 program, we start you off simply saying, show us 100 paper trades. Just get to work. And I don't even give a shit if the first 20 of your paper trades are just garbage. You're just saying, look, I bought here, I'm going to risk to here, I'm going to get take profits here. Force yourself into that. If I'm going to take profits, the profit trade's going to be bigger than the lose if I'm wrong. And just get into the habit of logging, journaling, noting, tracking how you feel, and then of course noting on as the trade's working by. Well, that was kind of a stupid area to think about buying. Well, I guess I'll have to learn about this reload zone thing this Beamish guy talks about. Whatever. Point here is Kiran, who is a professional futures trader, day trader, and it's fun hanging out with in our day trader room over there at we call it the Battle Stations room. Him and Daniele, it's fun hanging out with those two. He did a great presentation for the level 1ers, just sort of as a teaser. All right, you guys think you're traders? Now, welcome to my world. And showing them all the Gann angles and square of 9 and gaps and volume profile and moving average signaling systems, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Thank you, Karan. I appreciate you doing that today. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, Grim's also over. He's at Top Step. So what we want to do is we got to now. Kiran wants to get a prop firm up and running at TRI, like a co-op prop firm. We're not going to fucking fleece you like Nebraska does. Just kidding. Love you, Top Step. You people are beautiful. Hugs and kisses. Say hi to Hogue and Eddie. But we actually want to convince Grim to move his account over to TRI and trade our prop firm. But just hanging out with Kiran, it's so refreshing. And it reminds me of the days of trading back at the prop firm with professional traders. I mean, like when I'm in the lounge and I'm chatting with new people, I mean, you have to understand it's kind of apples and oranges when you hang out in actually a professional trading room. They're very cut and dry, very straightforward, these are my levels, this is what I'm looking for. All right, I just went short. All right, boom, I just took profits. I'm done for the day. Okay, see you guys tomorrow. I mean, it's a very matter of fact and just very level-headed. I love that about, and you can always tell, like professional traders, they always act that way. So if anything, the fact that I'm so up and down and boisterous, if anything, says I probably am not a very good professional trader. But I did actually my first prop trade for them. I'm on the sim. They're still putting me through the combine, but actually had a really good bot set up off of Daniele's tick range charts, which were so cool. But anyway, why did this trade happen? Why did it work? And like I said, Friday there was an employment report that came out, but markets were closed. And the scuttlebutt was that it was going to be a pretty good report. And also, too, the scuttlebutt was that previous reports were going to be revised substantially higher. And keep in mind, non-farm payrolls, get used to it. They do that all the time. There's a lot of traders that I know that don't like trading off the non-farm payrolls because it is so subject to revision. It's kind of just sort of it's a waste of time. But what I think happened was that on Thursday, the word got out that it's going to be a pretty good report. And I think it was just simply a buy the rumor. And then fascinating, they actually opened up the market right here. And, of course, the news was out. Oh, my God, huge report. I think it was like plus 600,000 or 700,000 jobs, something like that. And ironically enough, for the rest of the day, as the market was open, the market actually didn't do anything. That's where it opened. I think it went up like 3 or 4 ticks from the open and, finished about 5-10 ticks from the close. So, ironically enough, Friday was actually a non-event. But this was a very classic buy the rumor, sell the news. And ironically enough, as you can see, setting up my day for the coming week, I'm actually thinking we're probably going to have a 50% retracement. So I'm going through the process right now of trying out for Kiran's combine. Wish me luck. And frankly speaking, I think anybody, it is a really great way to get rid of the bullshit, especially if you're a TRI and you think that you're the shit. Okay, enough is enough. Let's see if you really are the shit. Can you pass the combine, the TRI combine? I'm actually super, super pleased with the direction this is going. This has been a curveball that I was not expecting at all, and I'm just tickled pink by this development. Just absolutely tickled pink. So Daniele and, of course, Kiran, you got 100% my support. And I'm very enthusiastic about what you guys have planned. Super, super enthusiastic. Anyway, so that's just another thing we do at TRI. But what I wanted to just mention was, it was actually, to me, it felt like the whole damn market just got bid up into that employment report. Beep, employment report came out, and you're done. And the whole damn market just stopped. And that's exactly the same thing that happened to fucking Bitcoin. You can see they bid the market up, and then the employment report came out, beep, and you're done. And that was it. And I even put tweets out. I was like, coming out of here, like I said, I saw the whole damn risk market lift. And I was like, woo, this is interesting. What the hell's going on here? And then I put a tweet out shortly thereafter. Well, that was just a big fat nothing burger. Like off the 1 hour chart, like literally right after the breakout, boom, in comes big fat M. And of course, anybody at TRI knows that if we see an M off of a W on RSI, if it's the first one, then it means if you're a bull, you just got to cool your jets. And frankly speaking, that wasn't bad advice. I suppose the good part about this slide, and I was a bit worried, is you never know if they're going to just sort of pull the carpet out underneath the crypto kids. At any given point in time, I've told you guys this repeatedly, it's not like I'm making a prediction. This is in your own best interest, people. But at any given point in time, I don't care what the fuck you're trading. It can be Bitcoin, it can be the Dow, it could be broiler chickens. But at any given point in time, you have to expect 38.2s. They can pop up anywhere. And usually they get hit on something like this when nobody is expecting it. So, I've been at this game forever. I just know that this shit happens. So I kind of look at this and I go, oh God, here we go. It's not necessarily like I'm saying this is the end of the bull market and, sell your Bitcoins, get the fuck out. It's just that, technically speaking, this is a risky market. It's just that simple. I kind of didn't want to see, if we do actually dump through here, that does create a big old honking M, and we don't like M's. So I don't really want or expect that to happen. Because there is a pretty big IPO coming out in the public on the 14th. Coinbase, everybody knows Coinbase, and that guy who's picking up chicks in elevators. Jesus, how many chicks are going to be throwing their panties at him now with this IPO? It's going to be insufferable. But anyway, if I understand correctly, Coinbase, a big IPO up in here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of big push into that. I mean, Wall Street wants to get paid. They want the highest possible number for that IPO. Are they really going to have corn weak into that? I don't think so. So if there was going to be a pullback, I don't think it's going to be that deep. That's just my opinion. Who knows? But I did see two, which kind of intrigued me. Was I'm a big fan of market symmetry. So what I often see in life, and like think of the maple leaf kind of idea, where what ends up happening is nature just ends up repeating itself repeatedly, just making a terrible maple leaf. I'm sorry. All the Canadians in the audience would be aghast. Anyway, you know where I'm going with that, right? Fractal, fractal, fractal. Terrible, I know. Let's just get that the hell out of there. Point here is that, price action in the marketplace often moves very similar. So you can kind of see like how there's sort of this. And there's this. It's that very fractally sort of replication behavior. So then when you sort of look, okay, well, if we do that, then what happens here? Well, then we get this, 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 this. And notice when we got up into here, we got this, this, this. I mean, kind of sort of that same sort of yay. And then, unfortunately, well, what happened next? Well, then we went down here. And then we came back up and went to new highs. So does that mean? Well, then we got to come down here. And then go to new highs. I do like that thinking. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen. Interestingly enough, we have one gentleman on the site, love him dearly. He's off now. I mean, the guy's now, he's going to be, just whatever Colin buys, just go and buy it. He's going to do very, 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 very well here. He's got his pump chaser zone. Oh, hello. What did I say about 38.2s there a few minutes ago? I mean, I don't know whether this is precise or not, but after a while you see this stuff and you go, gee whiz, this is ridiculous. How cliche it is. So I don't think it should surprise us that we did come, and really, same sort of fractally type argument. You can kind of see we went like zing, 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 zing. So probably on the other side, it's got to look the same thing. So zing, 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 right? Kind of thing. That sort of fractal top. So it is interesting that, gee whiz, what did we do? We came back to Colin's pump chaser zone. Also, too, the Wyckoff fans. Wyckoff check. So that breakout there, market structure, what a surprise. It looks like to me there's some interest at that level. That's logical. The interesting thing about this image here is that zing, 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 right? We can actually start doing fib studies going back up the other way. And so where should the zing sort of stop? There's good old reload zones. And gee whiz, you can see all these cluster of highs. And, look at that. Highs there is 88.6. This one's just a little bit above. That one right there is basically 78.6. So in a weird sort of way, if you can think sort of reload zones, well, it makes sense that there's going to be lots of fights, right? In fact, the horizontal support and resistance people, level 2 concept. Good old Kiran, tricking out your charts, right? We would say, well, if we want to visually see where that traffic is on your charts, do an exercise like this. Keep in mind, somebody at some point in the past said, no more up, you go down. So could they maybe come out and do it again off these levels? And gee whiz, that's a bit of a traffic area, eh? I mean, can you see that horizontal support and resistance? So, hopefully that gives you some food for thought. As I said, I don't know whether I really like the idea of the market really puking out in earnest and like collapsing, right? And that kind of stuff ahead of that Coinbase IPO. I do like, believe it or not, the idea that as I had said earlier, I like the idea that we're just in just like a massive. It looks like it's sort of like just this ugly, nasty, upward pointing channel. That, people that are saying this is the top, their job is just to break their hearts and then continue back in the channel. Maybe probe lower, see if we can break some hearts to the downside. My hunch is these people, they're in trouble. Anybody who has their shorts up here, they probably got a bullseye on their heads. Probably the easiest way for you to answer when this bull market is actually going to be over is just something like on lines of, when is the Fed going to actually start saying that we don't like these asset prices this high? And we're going to start doing things like raising the cost of borrowing money to curtail that, let's call it, enthusiasm. I don't hear any talk like that out of the Fed. So that's more reason why, if anything, pullbacks, they're buying opportunities. That's really how I think of all of this. Now, what I'd love to see happen, which of course none of you want to see, but I think this would be absolutely perfect, is, like I said, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's too late. But I'd love to see, Bitcoin did it here when it bottomed, and this is what I was kind of hoping. This is the last cycle, and this was the November auction of Bitcoins by the U.S. Marshal's Office. And we had a very quick stab back. I don't know whether I can show you that. Well, anyway, maybe you can see that. We had a really quick stab back, just smack right into 61.8. And, of course, love these as buying windows. And then nice inside bar off of the previous structure. Fucking A. And I was kind of hoping to get that, but we're just not getting it. It's just not coming in, fuckers. And I start to look at these like historical comparisons. So this is the Bitcoin chart from that last cycle, and I think Ethereum's doing a lot of the same action. And like you see, Ethereum just broke to new highs. And where the hell this thing went. So I'm not gonna get in front of this. I mean, I do like the idea that as we were rallying up against these highs and thinking like fib levels, extensions, Gartley's, all that kind of stuff, and I suppose the same thing off of Bitcoin if we show today's chart. Thinking, okay, we're coming into topping levels. Let's keep an eye on. Clearly, the market here is saying, "I'm sorry, I'm just not interested in topping right now. I'll call you when I do things like I put in M's and fail off 38.2s. Then it's probably time to hop off." But right now, man, I don't see any stop in this. And what's kind of coming back to this conversation. And really that tweet, wherever the hell it is. You just don't know how this spring is going to look here. I mean, it might be like this kind of crazy ass shit, and that would be that 61.8 gift trade. But I don't think we're in that kind of market right now. It feels more like this. But we'll see. Only time will tell. Regardless, into the end of the year, I think this is what we have to be thinking. And what does this mean? To me, what this means is we're going to have a really big crisis in the market come this fall. And it might be a crisis of inflation expectations a la price inflation. I thought it was interesting, usually everything goes 10x. So really what we should probably think about here is what was the base of prices for that last inflation cycle and what should be our expectations going forward. I remember when I was I was telling the students that all through the late 90s, which was basically the end of that last cycle, I could go and get a nice 6-inch tuna on cheese at Subway for $2.37, something like that. And then, of course, I was aghast when it went up to like $2.75. I was like, oh my God, that's highway robbery. So if we think that 10x number, I thought it was really interesting that there's a gentleman down in the States who was doing commercials, well, not commercials, but reviews of burgers, and he went and did one recently, and the price tag of the goddamn burger was like $26. And it's interesting, I remember, in the 80s when I lived in LA, the minimum wage was $2.50. I'm sure that went up quite a bit by the time the 90s rolled around, but, around that area. And interestingly enough, in Norway, somebody was saying that the socialist politicians down in the States are saying that, like, Norway's minimum wage is $22. So my hunch is that's basically that tenfold increase, which sucks. Because, I know you guys want to see really expensive Bitcoin, but really what I think's going on here is basically our whole society is getting screwed over in the idea that the bankers do not want these banks to go bankrupt with holding all of this bad paper that's technically worthless. So they are monetizing, i.e. the bonds come due and they just get floated out into brand new debt, totally forgiven, regardless of whether the company can pay off it or not. And actually, that was the big thing Powell said when I heard him about a month or so ago speak. He said that last March, the U.S. corporate debt market was in trouble. And so that's why they had to go and do their bazookas and basically roll over all that bad paper. So they're getting away with it. I still think that this fall there's going to have to be another stimulus package, which is going to lead to more crisis of confidence, which I think is one of the major drivers of why we see this cycle do what it does. Call me crazy, but I think that's the backdrop. Which means, get long your commodities. Maybe gold now finally rallies to, $10,000, $20,000 an ounce, and Peter Schiff finally feels vindicated. That would be 10x. That would make sense. Maybe crude has to run up to, $100 a barrel, $200 a barrel, maybe. What I'm really worried about is our food prices. I noticed huge, like our DI screeners, huge breakouts in the corn fund, the soybean fund, the wheat fund. Anything that's ag-related is just going insane right now. So get ready. Even your grocery bill is going to go up 10x. Party! Woohoo! Then I think what ends up happening is in the face of that, economy's feeling better, lots of stimulus, maybe we finally get on the other side of COVID, whatever, and then the Fed's going to come out and say, okay, enough is enough, we got to rein things in. I wouldn't be surprised at that point that there might even be like a movement in the U.S. legislature to try and rein in crypto because it's gone absolutely insane and there's tons of these BitConnects and shit all running around. Snoop Doggy Dogg has got like literally a cult following of crypto enthusiasts. Gene Simmons, is doing his thing. Elon Musk is riding the wave. And it's just absolutely out of control pandemonium. Get ready for it. It's coming. I tell you, I think that they're going to take that Dogecoin to $1. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. What really should happen for all of you is you should all get very, very wealthy through this. Play your cards right. Get your fucking act together. Get set up. Even if you have to take the level 1 program in May here, then May, June, July, by the middle of the summer, you're ready to fucking own this shit. But you got to get off your ass and get set up and get into position because it's happening now. And all you current level 1ers, right? You had to put the time and effort to get good at this. You can get a little old lady risk management strategy going today. I just talked to you at the beginning of this video. Take 5% of your stake, throw it into a name. But you can't add any more. So maybe just do 1% or 2% so you can dollar cost average your way in. Whatever. You just got to get going today. All right. Wow, man, there's a pitch. I'm telling you, man, there's going to be fortunes made here through this next 6 months. Absolute fortunes. I don't know whether you're going to be one of them or not. I noticed this Nemorite. Jesus, it took off like a rocket here today. I think I was showing you that tweet. I mean, here's the funny thing, right? I mean, you look at that chart, and it's just getting going. It's just getting started. Where the hell's this damn thing going to go? You can see last cycle, banging out doubles, banging out doubles. Well, guess what? I mean, they're back on the buy side. Here we go again. So just rinse and repeat. But I tell you, the only way you're going to take advantage of this is you got to get in there and do it. Here's a funny one. I mean, talk about a total piece of shit. I don't know why this is happening. Now, this is going to be bought my Verge at 2 sats. Hell, you could have bought this thing at 1 sat. And there it goes, 16. It's 16's last traded. My offer, I'm on the offer now. I'm 17 offering. Why is this happening? Is this thing really? It's going 16x in the period of a month and a half? Seriously? I don't know what the hell this is, but there I am. In fact, actually, I'm already at my double level because my average is 8. But I wanted to treat myself, so I said, what the hell? I'll give myself an extra sat at 17. Who knows? But somebody's watching this and went, oh shit, get that fucking thing back down there. I don't know why they're doing this. If anything, this is a perfect testament to, you gotta love the crypto enthusiasts. They are so smart and they are so great at explaining everything. And oh my goodness, they are just brilliant. But I don't think it has anything to do with that at all. It's weird. It's almost like because these things live on the net and they're so algorithm based and they're so math based that I think, honestly, I think that they're all the same, right? They're all these, I mean, obviously there's some like UFO coin or balls coin or whatever that are just complete crap. And, what I find interesting is talking to a guy like Alex Sturck, and to him, it's really obvious what are like centralized cryptocurrencies, and they don't have anything to do with the spirit of decentralization at all. And yet they're doing this kind of shit. So it's really more about the whole money system. And, in our education program, we show a lava lamp that sloshes back and forth and the capital just moves around. And it's the only way you can explain why something like this is happening. I don't know what the fuck this thing is. And frankly speaking, if I had asked anybody in the industry, even 2 or 3 months ago, whether this thing was going to go up to 5, 10x, they would have said, you're crazy. Here it is, 16x. Why? I don't know. But I'll be more than happy to make money from trading. So, what the hell? If you want to trade 17, I'm on the offer. You can have my coins. And, of course, I won't even show you what this looks like in US dollars. It's ridiculous, these crazy charts. But, and if anything, that's what you got to learn about a guy like me. Is I'm relatively asset agnostic. I like crypto because of the whole decentralization theme. I love that. You all know very well I do not like totalitarian dictatorships. I don't like some sort of authority figure telling me what to do, especially with my money, because frankly speaking, I can make way better decisions than they will ever make. What I do when I see an image like this is I'm looking for, hey, can I make money out of this? And I started off with that funny rant about $500, whatever. It's very obvious I can make a lot of money doing this and just have fun at this. And that's kind of the way I'd like to approach this. Just have fun. Here's a really good example of, I was looking at, sort of just hunting setups. And I saw this chart and I went, gee whiz, man, that is a very, very bullish looking chart. That was this morning just as we were breaking out. And I even put a tweet out to this effect, like, I don't know what Bitcoin's going to do. Don't even know what Ethereum's going to do. But when I see an image like this, Atom versus USDT, it has nothing to do with Bitcoin. Probably has something to do with Ethereum to a certain degree. That, to me, that says it wants to go up. And we had a guy on the site who actually spent a long time studying this very closely. I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I like this setup so much, I'll name it after you and add it to the library. So I still like this as a Davos setup. Looks pretty logical to me. What's interesting about this is, hopefully what you can see, and, for level oneers that are coming out of the education program, what I want you to see when you see an image like this is that bot setup. So we did 33. We didn't go beyond 66. And we were even joking about this morning. If you have like a trading setup that is like trading an Empire or a Harami or something like that, well, that's one low to work against, and you're pretty vulnerable. Here's a case where if I work my stop, and if I did participate in this trade, I'd actually like to work my stop at a place where, man, it's going to take a lot of work to get me out of this trade. So you can see the bot level. It's right there staring you in the face. And I've got, even that little W that we were looking at there a moment ago. But this low, these lows, that low, all of these, but they're all cleaned out. But maybe this low, and then ultimately I would say I'm wrong if we lost this low here. That gives me, it gives me a lot of wiggle room. Like I'm a chicken shit by nature, right? And I always am like, oh no, they're running my stops. They're coming in after me. I know they are. So if I have my stop all the way down here, well, I got a lot of people to defend my trade. But, look at what the hell this is saying, right? Where are we here? $20? The damn thing looks like it wants to double. Get ready, folks. I don't know what's going to happen here, but that's a trade that if I was a professional trader, that's a trade that I would seriously have to consider taking. And frankly speaking, I think the bot already actually fired there. So here's a really good example where, okay, they're going to run these stops, but they never actually took out the low, turned it back up, and away we go. So there's a really good example, and I even tweeted this out, that's not a bearish looking chart to me. That's not a, hey, let's go out and short this. I think you can make some good money shorting that. That's a, hey, I want to go buy this. I think I can make some money on the long side. So how on earth am I going to get bearish at crypto when I see charts like this and they're constantly coming up? I can't. The problem here, of course, is this is trend continuation. It's not a value trade. So you got to approach this like a momentum trader. Don't be married to the positions. If they lose their lows and some politician comes out and says something horrible, great. Maybe the whole damn thing falls apart. But this is kind of like a go with the flow kind of market, I feel. So anyway, blah, 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 blah. What time is it? It's 12:30. Gonna fill up my beverage. We'll just see if there's any questions from the level oneers and send you on your way. Okay. Is Kavark or Kasharky? Are either of you two here? Nope. Sharky, are you over there on YouTube? I thought I saw you over on YouTube. Can you, from the Tesla dashboard, can you post that Q&A document in the lounge for me? Actually, maybe Kevin sent me. Oh, now I get the hiccups. Where is Kavark? Kavark usually sends me that document. Let's see. Somewhere in here. Big yawn. Where is that? There we go. And I don't know if anybody asked anything here. This might be a very short exercise. Brian, you suck. All right, party. Oh boy, what's this? Today the 4th? Oh, it is. All right, well, look at that. So we got some work ahead of us. All right, so having a hard time to take trade in this market environment, but with S&P and BTC at all-time high, not feeling comfortable being too exposed. I'll prefer to be sitting on more cash. Okay. Moreover, I'm taking profit a bit early before reach the target set when I've opened the trade. Because I'm not comfortable, I have fear of loss some profit. How can I handle this bias? Yeah. Well, frankly speaking, why are you risking money in the marketplace right now? You have to get to the point where you know the setup so well, and you know that the statistical outcome of taking the setup is in your favor. Ideally, we'd love to see 60-70%. And you have full confidence in the setup. So the fact that you're saying things like, I'm taking profit a bit early, well, why? You shouldn't be. A professional trader should have the profit levels in mind before you put the trade on, and really don't leave those kind of discretionary decisions to yourself, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to make the wrong decision. I do understand that trend continuation trades like the bot, once we hit 66%, you're given the luxury to move stops up. But I would do that really tentatively. If anything, it's almost better just to move your stop to scratch and don't even give yourself permission to move stops on that 66 move. But we'll give you the discretion to maybe things like move the stops up below market structure, so your most recent W kind of idea. But that's at the most. If anything, as you're going through the level 1 program, and this absolutely is this is the hallmark of the public. And you have to actually learn how to get rid of this from your behavior, where you have to teach yourself that the only reason why you took the trade was because there was a realistic chance to make more money than you were going to risk. So you have to wait to that profit objective. And if you're risking real money and you just subconscious just doesn't believe, that's almost an impossible request. So the answer is 100 paper trades, where after 100 paper trades you see, well, I had my profit objective at the 50% rule, and more than 60% of the time the market, even though it tried to shake me out lots of time, it worked its way up to that 50% rule. You have to learn that, and your subconscious has to see that. Until it does, and until you believe, you're going to be stuck in this vortex and you will never be able to leave it. It's brutal. So my number one I'm seeing is because I'm not comfortable, I have fear of loss, some profit. Really what I'm seeing here is you got no business risking your money in the marketplace. Put your money away. And get to paper trading. It may take you the next year just sitting and watching to finally get to the point where you're like, okay, I've got a setup I believe in. I teach you the guys, the El Tangonator and the bot, because they're setups that I like. But does that mean that they're the only setups? No, not at all. And there's some people at TRI that absolutely hate my setups. I don't mind. What I will say is I sure hope you yourself are trading setups. What are your 3 unrelated reasons for taking a trade? I don't know what they are. But if you get to the point where you've taken so many trades, paper trade, 1/10 count size trade, whatever, where the money and the emotional outcome of the trade is irrelevant, and you just keep working that setup, and you get to the point where you go, oh yeah, man, I see this works about 2 out of 3 times, and I make $1.50, $2, and the times I'm wrong, I lose like 50 cents to $1 or so, and gee whiz, I can see my account balance at the end of all of this, regardless of my opinion, because it turns out the ones that I thought were going to work actually got stopped out, and the ones that I thought were going to get stopped out actually worked. And that happens all the fucking time in trading. You have to get to that point. And what that means to me is right now you're risking too much money here. And you will actually never get to that point, because the emotional outcome of what's going to happen on the next trade is it's going to prevent you from actually making that transition to be able to see the big picture. You'll never get there, because you're always going to be focused on the last trade and what happened. There was a guy from South America that was on the site recently, and I could see him floundering, and he just couldn't make the commitment to trade the plan and trade a setup with no emotions. Went through probably about maybe 3 or 4 days of hunting a setup, and it wasn't really that great of a setup. I mean, I think he could have done a lot better. Setup didn't work. I told him, I said, look, you want to get serious about this? Show me 10 trades. And I don't care if every single one of those 10 trades lose money. Show me you have the discipline to hunt the setup and log and track and be a professional. He did 1 attempt. The trade failed, and I haven't heard from him since. He doesn't have it. And sadly, he probably just never will. So, if anything, it's not a bad exercise here at TRI to go through this, because you will learn very quickly whether you got what it takes to do this or not. You will learn very fast. And we're not going to bullshit you. And Colleen even says here, do I have to be a day trader? Do I have to live that life of leverage trading? The answer is no. I mean, there's a million different ways to skin a cat when it comes to investing. You don't have to be a day trader. But that's what this gentleman wanted to do. And, frankly speaking, he doesn't have what it takes to be a day trader. And that's okay. I mean, like 95% of the population can't do this job, and that's perfectly fine. So, number 1 suggestion to you is put your fucking money away. Show me 100 paper trades. Show me setups. Then get to the point, you do that, you get to the point where you're like, okay, Brian, I got a setup I really like. Then I want to see 20 paper trades of that setup, and then 20 1/10 account size trades of that setup. No mistakes. I mean, fuck, if you can do 40 fucking trades in a row without making a mistake, I will subscribe to your newsletter. Then I'll give you a half-decent setup that I know works 66% of the time, and I know you're going to make money. But like Colleen's saying here, you don't have to live that life. Remember my little old lady who was in love with Martha Stewart. Yeah, I got 10 G's to work with. Throw $500 at Martha Stewart. Stock doubles? Great. We'll sell half. Move on to the next one. It's really easy. It's stunningly easy to be a little old lady. The only problem is you just got to have a forever time horizon. And I know a lot of you crypto kids, you do not have a forever time horizon. It's really that simple. And no, I don't like back testing. Somebody asked, well, do you like back testing? Problem with back testing is you actually see that I've noticed that people often will sort of fit a back test, but then actually start running it in real time and the damn thing doesn't work. And you're like, what the hell? So if you want to do back testing, what I suggest you do is something like find your setup, pick your setup that you like. Maybe it's I buy Mountain Man's on, I want to maximize this. Why can't I maximize this? I think it's because that's on. Yeah. Why you can't show me a chart, damn it? What do I want to see here? Okay, well, we can use this one. That's fine. Maybe your 3 reasons are I want a liquidity event. So I want a Mountain Man level, and then I want an inside bar. So, remember I showed you this earlier, that last government auction. Where the hell was it? Way back here. So, we had our big run up. I think it was right in here. We had our Mountain Man tag. Where's Mountain Man? You're around here somewhere. There he is. Boink. So you're saying, Brian, I want a big liquidity event. Right? This was U.S. Marshals auctions, and of course it confirmed massive weekly W's. And you might even say, you know what? And I also want market structure. I want what I'm buying. I want my buy order to be filled against a big fat W. All right. So you got your liquidity event. You got your Mountain Man level. You got your market structure. 3 reasons. Go. I don't care. I don't give a flying fuck. You throw 5% of your portfolio, nanny nibbles, and I will only sell this when it doubles in price. Well, you got your fill up at 600 here, and from there on, you're laughing. I mean, can anybody do that? I think anybody can do that. It's pretty simple. So, those reasons for justifying acting, that never changes, right? Location, indicator confirmation, signs of market structure, whatever. What I really wanted to drive home there, though, was when I read this, what I'm reading, wherever the hell I put it. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, darn. Hey, when I do this. There, I think this was it here. What I'm reading here is you're risking too much money. You don't know what you're doing. You have to get to the point where you understand how the setups work. Then you can start risking your money. Okay, I think TRI's price indicator could help me. Please, can you check breadth and tell us properly? Alessandro, I know you're chomping at the bit. You're constantly wanting to get using this, and I'll tell you, this shit's gonna fucking revolutionize the world. The only problem is we're just not ready yet. Sjord's working his ass off. I mean, I can give you an update. Come on the site for the daily brief tomorrow morning, right? Mondays are his report, and if anything, Alessandro, come into the Monday report and harass Sjord. Don't harass me. But we're at the point of just putting the polishing touches on it. And until I actually get to the point where I'm like, okay, we're good to go, I'm not going to really release it to you guys. It's sort of like just a teaser. It's coming down the pike. It's coming down the pike. I find it interesting that, our breadth indicators were getting a little bit worried there about big crypto. It's interesting how they've not flashed bearishly yet. Just still a healthy pullback. But what was really interesting about this, and once this is ready to go and I feel like it's tradable, then I'll do video presentations. And I know you want it, Alessandro. I know you guys are chomping at the bit. What I did notice is that the junior market actually turned up violently here. So this is our crypto universe. What's fascinating is if we look at things like Binance and Kraken, they're just, look at him. He's just going apeshit to the upside here. Which I think is more of that kind of conversation about altcoins really outperforming here. And I put out a tweet, and I think you just saw it there a moment ago. that what I'm seeing right now, and I was sort of joking, Finkelworth or whatever, do you want to own some shitcoins? Kind of tweets like this. To me feels like this is just altcoin paradise. Like, anybody who's learned any of this trading stuff through TRI, man, you guys should be banging out doubles like crazy here. I mean, that's silly BTT. I mean, that's nuts. So that's this kind of market state. The most wonderful time of the year if you trade shitcoins. So enjoy it. Interesting. This window probably, it'll have fits and starts. Usually there's a bit of a pullback in May, June. Then we get into the real orgy there, June, July, August. And then once that's done, then I think we get ready for the Bitcoin face rip into the end of the year. And we probably should be trying not to get sucked into the pump that's probably going to happen into the end of the year. And I've publicly told everybody that I will be looking at this pump window if it acts like this as a major profit-taking event. And I probably won't be reinvesting a lot into new shitcoins at that point, just sort of liquidating and going to cash. And I would like to buy a house for Liam next year. And I don't want mortgages or anything. I just want to pay cash for it. So that's sort of my big personal objective, is I want to raise money to buy him that house. So, just FYI, I will be taking profits into this event. And what the hell? Every 21-year-old autistic kid should have a house for himself, right? Sound like pretty good aspiration. Oh, to answer your backtesting question, what I would suggest you do is, let's say, for instance, where's a good example? If you've got a setup, as I've told you before, I absolutely love buying against the bottom end of ranges and buying W's. And if the W risk is less than half of what the 50% target is based on where the current price is, well, that's a trade I'm interested in. So, something like this, what I would suggest, if you're like, okay, I want to backtest my system, is come up to the replay button here and go something like this. Okay, so there's a market. You can see the market's come off. There's the 50% rule. Can I get a W down in here? I'm going to risk the W, and I'm going to take profits at the 50% rule. So then you just let the price action play itself out. And oh boy, there's potentially an M that's coming in here. That doesn't look so good. Is that going to fire? Oh boy, here it goes. Oh boy, the M, there's no W there. All right, well, maybe these lows will hold in. Maybe we'll break to new lows. Let's see what happens. If a W comes in here, I wouldn't mind taking it, though. This looks like it's got an interesting potential. You can start to see now, we'll pause it here, that potentially something like buying that level and risking against that low there. Taking profits at the 50% rule is going to produce a 1.87 risk reward. Well, let's assume for this sake that is 2-to-1. So Beamish says, okay, that's all right to do. So let's think about doing this. So now we're real-time trading. Even though we're using the replay button, we're paper trading, but we're still kind of technically real-time trading. Oh, you can see I just got filled. Moving averages are crossing bullish. That looks kind of cool. All right, the trade's just working away. Now, remember the guy who asked the first question? He would be like, oh, you know what? I'm up a little bit of money. Fuck it. Just take the money and run. You cannot do that. You have to just let this trade play out. Oh, Jesus, now I'm underwater. I'm such a loser. Man, I don't know about this stock trading business. You can't get sucked into that. You just got to let the fucking trade work. So the trade's working away. Hey, look, now I'm a genius again. Look, I'm back at, oh, no, now I suck. Oh, Jesus Christ. Am I ever going to be a trader? I don't know. Oh, look, the trade's working again. Oh, Jesus, now it's back down. Okay. And this is kind of boring, right? They always say, trading is actually a business about being comfortable, being uncomfortable. There's nothing going on here. Oh, hey, look, we got something happening now. Oh, look at that. Well, Aunt Betty actually, she thinks a little better of me. Her opinion shouldn't change. You're a trader. The position is just working away. It's doing its thing. Nothing has happened here. Are you any better of a trader since you put the trade on? No. Nothing has changed. It's just working away. You are back testing. You're trying to see if this system of buying W's and taking profits at 50% rule is of any value. And of course, as you move on in the course, you're going to learn about moving average crosses. You're going to learn about volume profile levels. But in essence, the trade's just working away. You don't know what the hell's going to happen. You might get stopped out at a loss here. Now, I would say if a trade works this far in your favor, we generally have a rule, and it's a pretty good rule, that if a trade moves at least 50% of your anticipated move, maybe just move your stop to scratch. And that way, if this thing does puke out, at least a trade that you were right on doesn't turn into a nightmare. So at this point, I think I'd feel comfortable you moving your stop to scratch. But still, nothing's really happened here. All right, well, let's just keep going on. Let's see, am I going to be considered awesome in social media, or maybe I'm just still a dog? I don't know. Oh, look at that. I'm doing pretty good. People on social media seem to think I walk on water, but really there's nothing to get excited about here. Until, come on, baby. And this is the hardest part of trading. Wait for it. Come on. Wait. Oh, no, don't go now. Jeez, chicks were just there. I saw her taking her panties off. Now she's putting them back on. God damn it. All right, well, maybe if I just hang in there. Just this Beamish guy says patience and discipline. I really want to get out of this trade. I'm feeling so uncomfortable. Oh, no, okay, well, oh, look at she's pulling her skirt up. She's reaching for the waistband. Oh, no. She's down. Back down goes the skirt. Anyway, hopefully you guys are enjoying this anecdote. You just don't know what the fuck is going to happen here. You know, there's a lot of people right now that probably were just like, oh, that's it. Get out. Walk away. Oh, no, we better walk away. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know. But the bottom line here is on this trade, either one of two things happens. Your profit objectives hit, or you move stop scratch and you just walk away unscathed. But you just don't know what the hell's going to happen. All right, looks like she's reaching for her waistband again. Fucking A. This is looking good. Come on, baby. Come on. You can do it. Right? And in the lounge, I'd be sitting there, doing like the Kramer tweets, at the horse track. Come on, baby. Come on. You can do it. Come on, baby. But nothing's happened here. Nothing. It's still just working away, just doing its thing. I can see she's reaching for that waistband again. Come on. Make me a superstar. Come on. Oh, no. Don't break my heart again. Jeez, you're driving me nuts. When are we going to get to the goddamn fireworks factory? I want to gloat. I want to talk about how awesome of a trader I am, but I can't because the position's still open and it's just a paper profit. And that Beamish guy says, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Come on. You're killing me here. Nothing's happening. The trade's just working. Again, you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. It is the life of a trader. It is our life. I don't know whether I can keep this commentary going. I'm running out of steam here. Anyway, like I said, I don't know what happens here. I mean, maybe this thing rallies up, maybe it craps out. But anyway, it's a great analogy where what I actually need for you to do is I need for you to let go of your opinion. And I just need for you to try and live a life of a statistician. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I gotta have to resolve. Maybe we walk away at scratch. I have no idea. Do 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 do. Yeah, profile's filling in. I mean, look at that value high level. Why are we not going up to that MUA? God damn. Okay, here we go. Man, this is probably the perfect analogy of up and down like a horse drawer. She keeps reaching for her waistband, then pulling them back up. Then oh, hello, here we go. Come on, baby, come on. Oh, Jesus, she's such a tease, I swear, this girl. and Khalid's over on the sideline going, Brian, she's got triple D's. This girl, she's your girl. Okay, come on. Oh, look how close. Hey! Woohoo! So, if anything, man, wasn't that a perfect analogy of a trader's life? Wasn't that good? I thought that was actually a lot of fun. So, whoever asked about back testing, this is the way actually I would recommend that you back test. Isn't that funny? Anyway, maybe I'll leave the video at that for today, because that was cool, eh? I mean, honestly, I had no idea what was going to happen here. That was good. Somebody should record that. Okay, so can't answer about breadth, unfortunately. You're just going to have to wait for it, Alessandro. Okay, when looking for a signal with the Willie, are we happy with the W crossing the EMA at any level, or should the EMA be below -50, for example? Good question. Remember, Willie was built as an overbought, oversold indicator? That's the whole point of Willie. I might actually suggest that if you're going to use a Williams percentage R with a moving average, then maybe you do the same thing as what we do with the RSI study in the moving average. And then, so that's the out of the box. That would be a 13 EMA on the default Williams percentage R, which I think defaults to 14 periods, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll probably give you a better sort of trading system with using Williams percentage R. And actually there's 3 different signals. So a W crossing the EMA coming out of oversold, that's obviously an oversold dead cat bounce signal. W through the -50 line on an EMA cross, that's a trending signal. And then a W through the EMA above in the overbought zone, that's an embedded signal. So all 3 of them are valid. They're just different market state signals. So I hope that helps. Maybe reach out to me, Richard, and maybe even we'll talk more about this. That's a good question. The first part of that Willie tutorial teaches you about Williams percentage R. And remember, Willie is sort of a bastardization of that. So that would be my feedback there. What I would also say, too, I have noticed that when Willie's moving average moves through that 50 line, that is a very, very powerful trending signal. So I'd also, there's a lot of really good information in all of this. Could you deep dive into how to use OBV in conjunction with red or green volume bars? I still struggle to see the W's and M's in volume bars. Deep dive. Hey, caramba. What time is it? Jeez, I've been going a while there. I don't know whether I really want to get into this. The OBV module, the lecture should do a pretty good job. I think you probably should go back and watch that a couple times. I tell you what, Richard, you've asked a couple questions. Why not also 2, which gives me a little bit more time. I'll see if I can do like an OBV walkthrough on the Daily Brief or something tomorrow. Or Tuesday's usually sort of my free-for-all day. So maybe ask on Tuesday as well. There's it's step by step by step by step. It's very obvious and it's very clear. What are you saying that should be cut and uploaded as a separate video? You like that, eh, Richard? Wasn't that cool? That was fun, eh? Especially my commentary, eh? That girl, she was such a tease. and no, okay, we'll leave that. Okay. Okay, so I remember when I joined TRI back in 2017, you were warning everybody and you were spoon-feeding the market all the way. How do you think we can time the top of a lot easier, as I think the network effect would make the top a lot faster? I also heard Dav sold the top. I heard that he actually got out at about 13, 14,000, so I don't know whether he got the top. Do you think we would again crash over 90%, or would it be a lot less? B&B looking interesting, by the way. Thank you, Brian. Hey, Bagra! Bagra! Nice to see you in the on this side, Bagra. That's kind of cool. I laid out, remember I said there a few minutes ago, I laid out sort of my exit strategy for this cycle. I think I do like the idea of publicly stating I have to buy a house for my special needs son with the proceeds of this, so I don't feel badly about actually cashing out, because I think that's a worthy cause. So as I sort of said, I do like the idea of having a lot of fun in this space through the summer here. Which one was it? One of these. Not that one. Not that one. I guess over here. I guess I did it on that tweet. Where the hell's that damn tweet? Over here. But I'm going to be leery about buying too many altcoins through this. And actually what I probably do, what I found worked really well last time, but I didn't do it, but it made a lot of sense. And I watched it out of the corner of my eye, and it worked perfectly, is once we get into sort of the blow-off topping window, and it should be pretty obvious, we'll see Bitcoin going up like 5-10 G's a day kind of thing. I'm going to put myself on like a 12-week exit program where I'm going to split my Bitcoin stake into 12 equal pieces, and every week, I don't give a shit what the price is, every week at a certain time, out goes 1/12 of the position. So then that way, over a 12-week period, you get a nice average selling price. And I don't want to get wrapped up in picking tops. I don't want to get wrapped up in the emotion of the decision. Panic sell, panic buy. You just simply, it's very mechanical. That's the way I saw that it works. You know, that's the way that I banged out doubles and triples and quadruples. Don't have any opinion about price action. Just when the damn thing doubles, out goes half. When I put myself as an ENFJ on that kind of plan, I can execute because I know what the plan is. I don't really care. The only thing that matters to me is, did I follow my plan? So that's my suggestion there. And frankly speaking, I'm probably going to step away for a year or two. I really do want to write a book about this whole crypto journey and really put down into writing all the different concepts that I teach and have taught in this school program. And then in future teaching, I'm just going to simply refer straight to my textbook. So that's my plan. And Josh over there in the UK, he's actually going to do most of the work. I'm just going to sit and throw paper airplanes at him while he does all the typing. So should be fun. And I'm sure he's looking forward to that. What? So I hope that answers your question, but, that's my plan. Where do you stand on BTC CME gaps? Will we close the gap form beginning last week? Richard. Will we fill in the gap? I feel pretty much assured. Gaps fill in about 90-95% of the time. I suppose you're talking about this gap in particular here on this CME futures contract. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. It might take months. Might even take years. Yeah, you can see, look at, there's some big honking gaps all the way down here at, what's that, 23,000. Looks like there's another gap at 17. So what'll end up happening is, if we face rip up to like 300 G's or whatever, willy woo, then we start topping out. Everybody should know exactly what the percentage Bitcoin should correct. If you don't know, Go back and look at previous cycles. I mean, it does the same thing almost every damn time. So, 80% correction, not out of the norm whatsoever. And what'll end up happening is we'll actually use these gaps as reference points as we work our way down. Joshua can attest to this. I remember both on the 2018 bear, we just drew all the gaps, and eventually the market comes down and fills them in. Does it have to fill it in today, tomorrow, next week? Nope. Doesn't have to do any old damn thing it doesn't want to do. But can we use this as a reference point going forward? And then more importantly, as a technician, what we want to try and find is that confluence kind of idea. So, does it make sense that reload zones and price gaps make for pretty damn good trade location? So there's the bottom of the gap. There's good old Mountain Man. So now we actually have two pretty darn good trade location tools. The gap and Mountain Man. Maybe you get a punch into here. Maybe even better yet, it comes down, it creates a momentum divergence as it punches down into this area. Then we go and put in a W, and now you've got the momentum div. Maybe MACD did something like that on the move. So on this pump here, the div fires. Then your trade actually sets up here. So you have location. Now you got Mountain Man and gaps. You got your momentum divergence, MACD, RSI, stochastics, Willy, whatever. OBV, even better. And then you got your price structure to frame your trade, and boom, you got yourself a kick-ass trade setup. Does that mean that this gap has to be filled in at any particular point in time? No, doesn't mean it at all. Should that gap be filled in? Well, according to statistics, 91%. That's an awfully big number. So that's the way that I would approach that gap. Hope that helps. All right, so the only thing I didn't really jump into in earnest is the deep dive in OBV, but maybe why don't we take like maybe 10-15 minutes on a daily brief, and we'll pull up a volume chart and we'll just walk through an OBV tutorial. I do it usually once or twice a quarter anyway, so what the hell, why don't we do one Monday, Tuesday. Okay, so that handles the questions. I've been blabbing away for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, so I think we're probably done here. I hope you guys got some great value out of all my rants here today. No idea if I said anything of value, but I sure hope so. Actually, we're coming up to the level 1 program here shortly in early May. I'm not quite sure what the team's marketing plan is for all of that, but by all means, I'm sure David has some sort of plan in store. I've included like 30-day trial links, so feel free to pop on the site. If you're interested about that OBV study, there's a nice little teaser to get you into the daily brief, Monday, Tuesday kind of thing. As you sort of saw there, but I didn't make too much reference to it today, but lots of interest on the site about good old Sjord's algos and signaling systems in the market. And I have to say, man, I'm so impressed. This stuff is so kick-ass. It's ridiculous. Just getting the most beautiful technical readings of the entire market. I can see it from top to bottom. Then just getting them the most killer trade signals. Even having like key reversals firing away. Remember I talked about those goddamn ags? So what a surprise, we're getting like big key reversals here out of things like agricultural proxies. I don't even know what this looks like. Probably look at that big reversal bar there. If you look at like all the I don't know whether it's in here or not. Whoops. I was saying it earlier that all the ag ETFs, I don't know what the hell we call them here. Corn, there it is, corn. I mean, look at these goddamn eggs. I mean, holy but Jesus. Oh, God. So it doesn't surprise me that we're getting a really bullish signals. In fact, actually, like one potash company I was super bullish on. Getting huge buy signals coming right across. Look at this. Like eggs, cotton. Fucking cotton's going to go crazy here. So, system, interesting. We're getting lots of signals in the various different, interesting Dash versus BNB, but I think that's because BNB went up so much. Yeah, lots of signals. I mean, just it's beautiful. In fact, I don't know whether the boys have been working really diligently on the charting platform on the site, so the charts just look so crisp. Hey, look at that, beautiful signals. So this is a short-term momentum model that I run. So very powerful momentum pushes. So they've been really working hard. This was a huge endeavor for us to get these charting and all of the signaling systems rocking and rolling. But you can see, I mean, whoa, what the hell is this? Oh yeah, see it not. You have to have a bit of a jaundiced eye versus BNB, but look at these charts. I mean, I was joking in the public. I was saying, I mean, is it worth just throwing on a subscription like the basic subscription model? I think it's like, I don't know, $50 a month or something like that, just to get these ideas spoon fed to you on a daily basis in your email. I think it is. And some of these signals just stunning. The only problem is I don't like any of these signals that are coming up versus BNB, because BNB itself is in play right now, so you have to be a bit jaundiced. Oh, there's a Dash. Isn't that interesting? Dash versus BNB. Oh, look at that little guy. Oh, again. So we do still have to work on the screener to like filter out if I don't want to see coins versus BNB. But look at that little guy, NXS. That looks interesting. Anyway, I could spend all day here. Geez, look at that little guy, MDA. I mean, this kind of thing, you throw a buck at it. Are you going to get one of these fucking crazy ass candles that gives you like 2 or 3 times your money on the move? Is it worth throwing a buck at? I don't know. Like I said, I'd love to show you all these, but I don't want to show. Oh, look at this one. Oh, there's a nice one. Look at that. EOS up USD. Oh, pretty signal. Actually, a signal came in there yesterday. Isn't that interesting? So, and actually, I think I was looking at that at EOS. That's a good-looking coin. Where was that? I seem to remember. Yeah, right here. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think I was touting this one earlier. Yeah, look at that cute little double bottom that came in there a few days ago. Look at that signal. Look at the volume too. Jesus. Damn Red Bull. Anyway, I mean, look at all the damn green here. That's not a bear market. There's too much damn green there. This is nuts. But anyway, make hay while the sun shines. Go out and have some fun in this market. You should be able to bang out some kick-ass winners here. And see if you can sneak in. Actually, I went and picked up some of this one earlier. I was convinced this thing was going to pop on Friday. So you can even buy a little bit less than where I got in there on Friday. But that's the kind of market it is. To me, something like that's got money written all over it. I mean, I don't know how long it takes for this thing to go, but I really like the look of that. Call me crazy. Most people do. All right, I think I will leave the rant at that. Sure hope you guys enjoyed that. Happy Easter, of course, everybody. Wish me luck with Liam. PMA for the win. Good luck on exams, everybody. They're all the school people are all coming into their level 1 and level 2 and level 3 exams, so it's going to be study week around TRI. PMA for the win. God, Kiran, I'm so excited for Kiran's future. And all the people that are aspiring prop traders, we don't have to send you to Top Step now. We can keep you in-house. Oh, this is so awesome. So, whether it be Sjord's kick-ass algorithms and screeners and charts, so whether it be the school program setting you up to run your small business of trading, whether it be facilitating actual like prop firm environments for you to really sharpen your skills, whether it be following Colleen's Nanny Nibbles and Little Old Lady, and she runs the Ladies Lounge. So if you are a little old lady and we're like, let's see whether there's actually any little old ladies at TRI. Well, guess what? She runs the Ladies Lounge and she's a killer trader. Whether it be trading warrants and options and derivatives in our TRISOF club. I mean, TRI is firing on so many cylinders. So, with that said, have yourselves a great rest of your day. PMA for the win. Go out and buy some Ubix so I'm not underwater anymore, please. Alex, get your goddamn coin up. All the best, and bye for now.